I have a podcast. It's called Relationships Made Easy. So I help people create lasting change in their relationships, even if their partner won't do a thing. I've been a therapist slash coach slash all these things for about 34 years. I've been meeting with clients for 34 years. And for many years, I worked in international mergers and acquisitions, helping executives in trouble. And as I was talking to them, trying to help them become better CEOs and better executives in whatever way they were, and they often came to me because of a drug and alcohol problem. So, here they were, sort of miserable, unhappy. And as I was working with them, I started realizing that really a lot of them were unhappy because they were unhappy at home, and it was translating into work, and it was translating into drug and alcohol problems, as you'd imagine, right? And so over time I'd be working with them, and because I had this background in counseling and I have, business degrees, when I didn't really get that I shouldn't be talking to them about their personal lives, but I did. And I started working with them on their marriages and on their being better parents, and they started doing really well. I never met their partners, but they would come back and report that their relationships were transforming, that they were happier, that things were so much better. Relationships Made Easy has been happening for over a year now. Every week, I don't miss. And what my superpower is breaking things down into bite-sized pieces so you can have a win after every single podcast. That's my goal. And I make everything very actionable. I break it down. Here's the things to do. So theory is nice, but theory doesn't get you there. Theory doesn't do anything. It's action that does things. Our conscious brains process information at a rate of 50 bits per second, but our unconscious brains process information at a rate of 11 million bits per second. It's incredible. So if you think about that, so what happens is, let's say I come to someone like me and I go, I want to change my relationship. I want it to be better, but my partner won't do anything. Let's say it's a woman. My husband won't do anything. And so I'll give them a tool, they go home, practice that little tool I gave them, and they come back to me, this is what happened for years. And they say, it didn't work. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. They go home, they try, and people do this right now, all over the world, people are doing this. Their therapist told them to do something, they go home and they do it, right? But in their head, so consciously, their conscious brain is like, I'm gonna try to be nicer, I'm gonna do a random act of kindness, I'm gonna whatever. But subconsciously, they're thinking, nothing's gonna change because my partner won't change. This has been a problem for years. This little tool isn't gonna do nothing, right? And we've made changes before, but they never stick. So this is a waste of my time. That's what they're subconsciously thinking. So guess what? Their partner picks up on that. So even if your words are one thing, but if your heart, if your attitude, if what's under there is another, that's what you react to, not the words. And the big problem in relationships, everyone comes in my office and says, our big problem is we don't communicate. And I tell them they're wrong. That is not the big problem in your relationship. The big problem in your relationship is that you compete. You compete for resources, you compete for time, you compete for money. Well, you went out with your friends on Friday, so I get to go out on Saturday. If you're on opposite sides, you are going to lose. It means if you win, it means I lose. No, your partner cannot take something off your plate because it's the same plate. It's the same plate. So you're moving peas around on the same plate. You have to get your shared resource. So if your partner's drained, you're drained. You have to start looking outside the relationship to bring resources in instead of always thinking it's me or you, it's me or you. That sets up that two sides. That sets up that split. That's the problem. My goal, and I believe everyone should have access to that kind of information. So not everybody can pay to see me, not everyone can pay for my programs, but my podcast is for free.